Francis just got stopped and asked if he was Jewish.
2 hours later.
In other news, Joel Embiid signed a massive contract extension. True story, he just texted me. Welcome to the tribe, Francis.
How do you think that conversation went?
I have no idea. But in the note of Joel Embiid, 5 years, $148 million as the news broke yesterday on Twitter via Adrian Wojnarowski. Series of 3 tweets for everybody. The first being the announcement in itself with many, many fun photos of Joel Embiid being very happy.
Just throw it in the bag.
There's some really interesting details in this contract that are going to come out, just not currently out yet, but we can give you some context as to what they are. But let's just move forward. So Michael Jordan, total points, 32,292. Career earnings, 90 million. Let's just conveniently leave out what Jordan Brand is worth, roughly billions. Total points, 627 in NBA
right,
contract.
but it's just a new day and age
that is
for NBA contract.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not even comparable anymore.
No, it is. That's why it's just a bad tweet. And then Joel Embiid is under contract for 200 million in career earnings, and he's played 31 games. Again, these are a little bit misleading, because as was pointed out.
On the other hand, it's a huge thing there.
On the other hand, he could be one of the greatest ever. Look, to the statistics about Embiid, it's very simple. With Embiid on the floor, they were a team that was on pace to win 50 games based on the numbers, right? And some people don't like the crazy sabermetrics of Joel Embiid. I get it. It's a lot to take in. His per 36-minute numbers, and bear with me here as we jump on this train, his per 36-minute numbers last year in the 31 games he played, the only NBA player in history comparable to what Joel Embiid was doing. And I know he wasn't playing 36, you're adjusting for rate, was Wilt Chamberlain. So when you're in that company, he was doing things Shaq wasn't doing, according to Basketball Reference and their projections for this season. And again, I know, just projections. They have him averaging 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks, which is better than Shaq numbers pretty much in terms of dominance. And if you watch any of his workout videos over the summer, his fluidity for a guy who's 7'1", it's remarkable. He is not necessarily anybody who can be defended when healthy, and we're not sure anybody can score on him. Basketball Reference projects him to have 27.8 points per game, I think it was, 11.5 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks, 3.1 blocks around that area, still over 3. Wow. These are the numbers that Anthony Davis is probably putting up on an even better shooter. But regardless, we get it. The point is it's risky. Here's why some more context is important. If we have this is element number 26. I'm going a little out of order, Jacory, I apologize for that. So the contract note that needs to be stipulated is that the deal will include some salary cap protection for the 76ers should Embiid suffer injury that causes him to miss significant playing time. This is via Adrian Wojnarowski, who's obviously went from Yahoo Sports to ESPN. And what that means is there is potentially a clause in that contract that says if Embiid doesn't play 50% of the games over these 5 years, or even the first 2 years, it can get very fishy with the numbers. Right. Or even 75% of the games, whatever that number might be, they could have an out, and there probably is an out, an escape clause that says we don't have to pay you the back half of this contract. So what I really do think, and it's also incentive based, because on top of it being 5 years, 148 million, if Embiid does average those numbers, Embiid is likely going to be an All-NBA first, second, or third team player. And if Embiid is an All-NBA first, second, or third team player, or high ceiling MVP, there is incentives baked in that is 15% of the salary that he could earn, which means he can earn upwards of $30 million more. Most contracts have these incentives when you're a potential player. Alrighty. I felt like the 76ers didn't really have too much of a choice. I get it's a risky investment. There's one end where you go, this could be Greg Oden, and the other end could be, this could be Steph Curry. We never thought Steph Curry, and if you did, fuck off. If you thought Steph Curry's ankles were gonna heal and he was gonna be a good NBA player like he is, you didn't. You weren't. Nobody projected it.
Nobody projected that he would be better than Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, and he's not even 30 yet. So
he's only 29. You're right.
Yeah,
28, 29.
Yeah, he's not 30 yet. So secondly, you're 28, 11, and 3.5. What was that?
Projections. That was passing to you. It pass on to you.
Thank you so much for the finger roll. Which could also be like
Embiid has that.
It could be like a sex position.
Embiid has
the
that.
Finger roll.
He has both.
I feel like there are many NBA terms that could be used in sex.
All of them. Hard screen.
Hard screen. Dirty down low.
Charging. Taking a foul. He's really good on the block.
He really penetrated the defense.
Yeah. What was it, Jason Terry, who was like, we really penetrated in, took the D in, and then pushed it out?
You know he was like betting someone that he would do. Okay, so
28,
11, and 3.5. This is just me personally. If he stays healthy, I know that this is a projection. Again, I don't see him getting 28.
The audience they already ripped this out of context.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. So, way to alienate the people that support us, Jason. Alienate away. I don't give a shit. So there's Joel Embiid. Here's why I don't see it. Okay, just a projection. Again, I understand. Markelle Fultz needs the basketball. What a picture. Markelle Fultz, can you throw that up one more time? This is what he's saying to everybody who doubted him since he came out of Kansas. So Markelle Fultz needs the basketball and also needs to improve his free throws. That's a tease. We'll get to that a little bit later on. JJ Redick is going to need the ball a lot when he comes around screens. Bob Covington, Chicago, Illinois. Not a bad player, role player. Ben Simmons, this is basically year one for him. He's going to need the basketball. Joel Embiid is going to start at the 5. Then you also have Dario Saric and you have Julio Okafor. So 28, I don't see. 11, hell yeah, absolutely. What I see more is like 18, 19, and that's a great year. 11, and then sure, maybe 2 to 3 blocks per game. To your point about the investment, you're handcuffed if you're the Sixers because you want to give in right now because I do believe that the salary cap is going to continue to go up, up, and up. Yeah, so even though you're like, holy shit, like $158 million.
40.
I'm sorry?
148.
148, but according to Bleacher Report, with everything that you stated, it could go up to 175.7 million. So again, still, yeah, you know, it's still cool.
$7,250 an hour, I believe.
Even with all of that, he's getting paid what, $3 million a game, something like that, $5 million a game. Nonetheless, if you're either on one side of the fence or the other, you're either on the side of, well, he suffered a back injury and he had to have 2 foot surgeries on his right foot and da-da-da. I totally, completely understand that. But when you see a player like this, what do? In the words of Vince Vaughn, you go up and grab it.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you do. You have a star in Joel Embiid, and not only that, you have one of the most marketable young athletes in all of basketball because he is naturally funny. He's naturally sniping people on Twitter. He's funny, thank you very much,
that was his reaction
him and Chandler Parsons when they're FaceTiming and he put it on Snapchat, or Parsons put it on Snapchat. So you have a marketable player, you have a really, really solid player, and you have somebody who could be very good for the community in Philadelphia and also building something. So I agree with it, even though it seems like it could be a little bit harsh from a financial perspective.
He nicknamed himself the process. Like the guy just gets it.
Well, he adapted the name from the people who entrusted that with
He gave himself the nickname based on the people who adopted the name. He died. Sam Hinkie died for the process. In the case of it overall, it's all projections. But I think that there is probably some relatively decent out clause, an escape clause in here, even if they do gotta pay him, like because you don't want to run the risk of him getting, I mean, the other option is you could have traded him. The only other way around it was you wait. You wait until halfway through the season where he showed he's played in maybe 35 games and he logged 35 minutes.
But then the bar could be set higher.
The bar could be set higher, but at that point it's fine. If you're gonna invest, you're gonna invest. There's not much of a difference between $178 million with incentives and $220 million with incentives.
The fact is, in 10 years, this is gonna play out as one of the worst contracts in NBA history because injuries are gonna catch up to him and his body is just gonna fail him, or it's gonna be one of the best contracts in NBA history.
We don't have to.
It's gonna be one or the other.
It's a 5-year contract, so we'll know in 5 years.
It's a 5-year contract?
Yeah.
Well, they'll resign him to another 5.
Well, no.
Because they're going to trust the pro. What would this team be like if Sam Hinkie was still there? I'd say exactly the same.
He needed to sacrifice himself for this to happen. Like, you get this, right? This is like, this doesn't happen if he's there. He needed, look, do you trust the process? Do you? Be honest. Because if you don't, I don't know if we can continue this.
Which part of the process?
All of it.
Does that mean I have to entrust in Hinkie?
No, he died for these sins. It's okay.
Oh, so he's gone.
He's gone. Do you, it's a yes or no question. I don't think you do.
I do.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to drag it out of you.
To be fair, Francis called it first. LeBron James, Philadelphia 76ers 2018-2019.
Francis?
Season, yeah, he did. He said it first. He did.
Not a Jew.
Not a Jew, according to
You know who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew. He converted.
All right.
Joel Embiid.
Comment it below.
Go get your money.